Hi, everybody. It's Karen Anderson here with Aortic Hope's Week in Review, and I'm late, but I'm going to tell you all why. So, Week in Review, we go over all of our posts from the prior week that are on our social media platforms. So, in the case that you're not part of Facebook or Instagram or blah, 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 you can see it here. And most importantly, you can chat with me here live. So, Mondays, 3 to 4 Eastern Time. You're typically going to have me and or a fill-in of Tammy or Molly, or who knows what else will happen in the future. So it gives you a chance to kind of give me your opinions, your thoughts, your views, your whatevers, and give you a shout out online. And sometimes we have contests. So you got to kind of participate in order to stand a chance to win one of those. We also go live when we interview clinicians, when we have brave souls that want to tell their survivor stories, excuse me, online. And that also gives you an opportunity to interact with any of those situations. Okay. You ever have one of those days where just one series after one thing after another, there's just elements of it that just don't go your way, and they're usually because of another human. And I tolerate so many of those in my life. I like maybe 10 and dogs. So that's kind of gives you a perspective. No, I like a lot more than 10, but maybe not really. So I start off my day today, and this is a PSA. I picked up some computer ink. It's very simple. I read what's in there. I go buy the same thing that's in there. I went to Walmart. I got it. Combo pack, less than buying 2 individual inks. Very excited. I get home, I change it. Error with ink cartridge. Okay, let me double check. I pulled the little plastic, Scotch tapey thing off, and I did, which was good. And I put it back in, snap the little lid, put it on. Wait, error. Something's not right with the cartridge. I take out the new black. I put back in the old black. I leave in the new pink. Error. I flip that. Error. So now I know it's pretty much both cartridges, because the thing will work when I put back in my old, although nothing will print off black because it's out. So there's clearly something wrong with my brand new cartridges. It is not me. It is not the way I insert it. It's the ink that I've determined at this point. Could be the printer. I don't really know. Get up today. Go back to Walmart. Hi, I would like to get a new set of ink. Can I please have this? I need to make an exchange. Well, I can't make an exchange back here, but I can let you purchase the new one here, and then you can go up front and do a return. That sounds wonderful. I buy my new cartridge. Don't ever do that. Do your entire transaction in one place. I take everything up front. I'm like, I would like to return these, please. We do not do returns on packages that are opened. I said, but how would I ever know if something's faulty if I don't open it? Can I just exchange? Well, we don't do exchanges. Okay, why? Because we don't take back cartridges. I'm like, but how am I supposed to know if there's something wrong with the cartridge if you don't let me try out the cartridge, then you're not going to take back the cartridge? This goes on and goes back and forth. I return the one that I had just bought, but now I'm leaving because they're saying there's nothing more. Manager won't even come out. Manager relays it on the phone. It's probably watching me in the camera, and she's not coming out. So, getting a little bit louder. Basically turning into an Instagram star if anybody had their phones out. Thank goodness I didn't tell him my name was Karen, but I'm 100% in the right. I leave. Go get my hair done. And I start thinking about it. I want my money back. I want my organization's money back. That's what I want. I go back in. I call the electronics place while I'm in the store. I'm like, hey, do you do exchanges or refunds? Yes. We don't do refunds, but we should be able to exchange. I go get this guy. He's very friendly, not a decision maker, but was friendly. Comes up to the customer service where my same lady, Barb, was there. And Barb says, well, I don't know what to tell you. Policy hasn't changed. I'm like, just get the manager. Get the manager. Nope, I'm not the right manager. All I can tell you is we don't exchange and we don't return. Let me get what they call them. It wasn't clown. It was, it was some other word for the next level up. So you got employee, team lead, next level up, probably 2 or 3 levels up above that. They get the next person. Explain the situation. Well, I can probably just exchange it for you. I'm like, that sounds great. And one employee says, nope, we changed that policy 3 years ago. So now I've enlisted my mother, who's going to bat for me, and I hear her saying, how are we supposed to know if something's defective if you won't let us open the box to check if it's defective? Now, I had brilliantly picked up the phone in my attempt to calm my irritation, and I have called the bank, and I have told the bank I want to dispute the charge. So after I'm finished the conversation with the bank, long and short of it is I get the group team lead person, I don't know the next name, who's like, yeah, they don't even have the button exchange. I can't even do a transaction when it comes to ink. And all I can figure is there's probably some idiot humans out there who decide to put the new ink in and try to return the old ink to get their money back. So that's fine. I don't have a problem with the policy. It is not on the back of the receipt. It is nowhere online underneath their returns. Was not even verbally said to me, well, they should have. I'm like, well, they didn't, not once, but twice. No people ever told me this is final sale. Nobody. Take it up with Hewlett Packard. I said, I take it up with the fact that you're not going to get your money because I told the bank not to pay you. Have a great day. Okay, so I leave. Call Hewlett Packard. What do you think happened? You have to take it to, I was about to do something really bad. You have to take it to Walmart and you have to have them make the exchange. Well, that's what I thought, Hewlett Packard people. So that's what I did. And they told me I have to call you. Hewlett Packard person, not going to be able to help me. They want me to call with my serial number of my printer and try to walk me through figuring out why it says there's an error on the printer. I said, could it be the leaky black ink of the brand new ink that I just bought? Could that possibly be the problem? It's not my printer. My printer's working just fine off of its original color ink. It's the ink cartridge of the new one is defective. And I have to fill out a big form for the bank so that they won't pay it. And I come back, now I've run out of time because now I have to put a somewhat face on to get ready for this. However, no. Still have two more things I have to do today. Get them taken care of. Now, if I don't feed myself at this point, my blood sugar's so low, I'm going to rip someone's head off. So I'm like, oh, I'll just grab a slice of pizza because that's quick and easy, right? No. Pizza place closed on Mondays. Didn't bother to tell me. So unfed, irritated, but going to try my very best, my soul level best, to smile and just be so cheery. Do not buy ink from Walmart because they won't return it.
I promise and it's I'm not laughing at you.
But isn't it stupid? It's so dumb, and I am so lit up. I have to tell you another story, but you'll get that at our break. And I think it set off a chain of events within me. I'm going to tell everybody about it. And it's a good one, too.
All right.
It's better than this.
Let's say hi to Velda and Christina and Melissa. Hi, ladies.
Hi, Velda. Hi, Christina. Hi, Melissa. I hope you find me entertaining. Let me tell you. My mother told me I was scary. Oh, that's the other thing. I have two other stories to tell, so we'll break it into chunks. But let's get started. Before I get started, please click subscribe, click the little bell so you're told every time we go live, because September is Aortic Disease Awareness Month. It started off as Aortic Dissection Awareness Day, but dissections are so rare. Aortic disease is so much more common than anyone thinks. So then it was changed to Aortic Disease or Dissection, whichever organization you are, Awareness Week. But what we have found since dating back as far back as 2018 is we cannot possibly share with you and educate you on everything that would have to do with aortic disease in one day or in 1 week. So we take the entire month, and we are partnering with our medical students and our resident, the doctor that's a resident that does work with us, to create really great posts for you on Aorta 101 all the way through everything, pretty much everything that you're going to find in Aortic Disease, the patient guide, which is going to hopefully be coming out to you by January of 2025, which we've just now finished writing. Very exciting. Now we've got to have the clinical review take place, then the peer review of some people in the community, and then endorsement. And then we'll be able to get a download QR and then have it go to print. So anyway, September, very busy month. Click subscribe, click the bell. You'll be notified. Let's get started now. I need a drink. Okay, Medical Monday. This was written by Samantha Cullen. So for those of you who watch football, preseason finally begun. Yay to all of you. And this week's Medical Monday was all about screening for aortic disease, something we haven't really talked about, but there are screening guidelines, and here's some of the things you need to know. So aortic disease includes conditions such as aneurysms and aortic dissections. They can actually be life-threatening, which we all know way too well. And what just happened? And if it's not detected and not managed early, I mean, as we just mentioned, these things could be fatal. So while aortic disease often develops silently and with no symptoms at all, screening can play a very crucial role in early diagnosis and prevention of severe outcomes. Understanding who should be screened and when you should make and knowing who can be screened and when would really make a very significant difference in the prognosis of those individuals that are at risk. So let's talk about the disease element in itself. So the most common disease elements of aortic disease is going to start with aortic aneurysm. Okay, that's an expansion, a bulge, a dilation in the aortic wall, which can occur anywhere abdomen, or is known as AAA. There's a lot of people that misuse that acronym for ascending aortic aneurysm. That is not the acronym. If you say AAA, it is abdominal, okay? Or these aneurysms can be found in the chest, which would be a thoracic aortic aneurysm or a TAA. Then you have aortic dissection, which is a serious condition when a tear really develops in the inner layer of the aortic wall, which causes blood flow to happen between the layers. And that will ultimately produce a true lumen, which is a real path to feed the blood to all of your organs, and a false lumen, which typically thromboses or blood clots, and it leads to nowhere. But that in and of itself could potentially cause a rupture, and a rupture would be a tear outward through that outer layer, and that, depending on that location, really increases the chances for mortality, your mortality rates. Aortic stenosis, another common disease element that we often hear, really because it pertains to the valve, and that would be a narrowing of the valve. And any kind of stenosis means narrowing and hardening, and this can actually lead to reduced blood flow from the heart into your aorta. Conversely, you've heard of aortic regurgitation. So that would be that the valves get a little flappy and there's backflow blood. So we don't want that either. All right, so this is why screening is super important, everyone. The primary goal of screening for aortic disease is to detect conditions like aortic aneurysms before they actually cause any symptoms. And they are typically asymptomatic unless you have one that's maybe in the ascending or arch and it becomes so large that it's impacting your breathing or swallowing. Or if you have one in the abdomen and it's so large that you're feeling some discomfort and you can see pulsating in your belly. These are all things to talk about with your physician to determine what symptoms would yield you to believe that you are in fact symptomatic. And some of these things can become life-threatening. So aortic aneurysms, for example, they can grow pretty large over time and eventually rupture, which would lead to severe internal bleeding and death if not promptly intervened and treated. So early detection through screening really allows for monitoring, medical intervention, medical management, et cetera, and surgical intervention if necessary. Who needs to be screened? This is important also because these changes have occurred over the last 10, 15 years. So screening recommendations for aortic disease on identifying individuals that are at the highest risk of developing severe complications. So the guidelines for this really vary on the type of aortic disease and the presence of the risk factors. So if you want to be screened for an abdominal aortic aneurysm, this is the current screening in the United States, which should allow you to be screened for free. Of course, don't take what I'm saying at 100%, I think, but you know our memories, but I think that's true. Any man aged 65 to 75 who has ever smoked, ever. I'm not talking just like one little puff, but if you're smoked, 65 to 75, you are at the highest risk for developing an abdominal aortic aneurysm. So a one-time ultrasound screening is recommended for men in this category. And an ultrasound is just a wand that rolls around on your belly to look for and detect any aortic aneurysms in that area. Non-invasive, doesn't hurt, a little squishy with the jelly, but other than that, it's nothing. Now, men that are over 75 with a history of smoking or a family history of an abdominal aneurysms, these screenings should be considered on a case-by-case basis, taking into account overall health, the whole picture for that individual that's over 75, and potential life expectancy. Now, women age 65 to 75 who have smoked and have a family history of an AAA, because we're less likely to develop a AAA, I don't think they cover screening for us. So it should not come as a shock or be surprising. It's just ridiculous. But it's something you need to talk to your physician about, because if you have significant risk factors, if someone in your family has had one, if you've smoked, other risk factors, blood pressure issues, et cetera, overweight, talk to your physician and see what they can do to get you that scan. But there is nothing here that says you have a one-time scan, because we're not entitled to that. But again, if you talk to your physician, they can go ahead and coordinate scheduling that scan for you. Ultrasound, it's simple and it's easy. Now, individuals of families who have a history of a AAA, regardless of their gender, okay, those with a first-degree relative, like a parent or a sibling who have had a AAA, might require screening a little bit earlier than the general population, because there is a potential genetic component. Things get a little different when it comes to thoracic aortic aneurysms. So if you have a genetic predisposition, those with a genetic condition like Loeys-Dietz syndrome, Marfan syndrome, Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, you really need to undergo regular imaging studies. Okay, that's going to be different than an echo. You would need now an imaging study. So that would be, well, it would be an echo, but not an ultrasound, I meant to say. So it would be an echo or a CT scan or an MRI. Notice I said or, because either of these are acceptable. There are people in social media land, specifically Facebook, that like to say that and CT is the only acceptable. No, it is considered golden standard, but you will receive an effective scan result that a physician can read and look at if you have an MRI or if you have an echo. Echo does change things a little bit. Measurements might be a little off. And I understand that measurements are very important, but when in urgent need or in this is what you have available to you, because not everybody always has all of these tests available, then you take the echo, okay? And you need to do this surveillance starting in adolescence or earlier, really depending on what type of condition you are aware that you have. Now, if you have first-degree relative and you have thoracic aortic aneurysm disease, then the family members of those that have been diagnosed with a TAA may also need to be screened, particularly if the aneurysm was identified at a younger age. And younger meaning, I believe, 45 and under. So yay, if you're 44, you're considered young in this. Not that you're not young compared to me also, but particularly if it was identified at a younger age or was related to a genetic condition. Okay. Now, when it comes to aortic dissection screening, high-risk individuals. So these screening is not typically performed to the general population for something like this. But for those who have a family history of aortic dissection, specifically aortic dissection or a genomic syndrome associated with aortic disease in general, or a history of uncontrolled blood pressure, might really benefit from an imaging study to assess the aorta's condition. Like, what is the overall health of your aorta? Meaning, are there any areas of bulge, aneurysm, slight tear that you had a pain and thought it was gas? I mean, there are people that do walk around having had small dissections and didn't even know it happened. So again, if you have family history, you need to talk about having a scan, having some type of diagnostic test. And the good news is, if you're doing a CT or an MRI, they can check for both things at the same time. You don't need to be checked twice. You can be checked overall health of your aorta. Okay. Screening. Let's talk about how it's performed. So the primary methods for screening aortic disease are an ultrasound, and that's a non-invasive test, and that's used for screening abdominal aortic aneurysms. You're not going to use an ultrasound for the thoracic. It's going to be in the belly. And it uses sound waves to create images of the aorta and detect abnormal dilation in the abdomen area. CT scan, computed tomography, CT scan. They're very quick, but they're typically with a dye that some people might be allergic to. But it's a detailed imaging technique that provides cross-sectional views of the aorta that's often used to diagnose thoracic aortic aneurysms and dissections. CT. Now, let's talk about magnetic resonance imaging, or MRI. Sometimes people will also say they get an MRA. We're talking the same thing, okay? But it's an alternative to a CT scan, and MRI provides detailed imaging without radiation exposure. Now, the radiation exposure you get in a CT, especially if you are getting it low dose, which is pretty typical, it's extremely small, but I can understand why people would have some anxiety around that. So it's a conversation you need to have with your physician, okay? But MRIs, it's no radiation exposure at all. It's often used for people with different types of genetic conditions. They'll use an MRI, but you can use it for anything. It just takes about 45 minutes to do chest and abdomen and pelvic area. And you are going to typically have a dye. It's called gadolinium. It does not produce the same side effects when injected as the dye, the radioactive dye with a CT scan. The last test is an echocardiogram, or an echo, and that's an ultrasound of the heart. It is a different type of ultrasound than what happens in the belly. And this can also help visualize the aorta, particularly detecting thoracic aortic aneurysm, but it also can detect if there's an issue with your valve. Okay, that's going on there. So what happens after you're screened? This is interesting, but if screening detects an aortic aneurysm or any other abnormality, the next steps really depend on the size and the location of the problem. So small aneurysms, they will probably just be monitored and having regular imaging studies, while larger aneurysms may require surgical intervention sooner than later. Patients that are diagnosed with aortic disease really need to work closely with their healthcare providers to kind of manage those risk factors, such as high blood pressure, and just overall to work to determine the best treatment plan. Raising awareness about screening. So despite the serious risks that are associated with aortic disease, many at-risk individuals really remain unaware of the need for screening. They think they're one of, look, especially the people who have dissections think, I'm done, you fix me, I'm done. Little do they know, they are not done. They need to be screened the rest of their lives. So public health campaigns and educational efforts, they're really essential in informing those that are at risk about the importance of screening. This all becomes part of thinking about your aorta. Think aorta, think family. You just need to be thinking about it. And early detection can actually lead to life-saving treatments and better outcomes for individuals with aortic disease. So if you or a loved one falls into that high-risk category, talk to your healthcare provider about screening. Have that conversation. Being proactive can actually make all of the difference when it comes to preventing the potentially devastating consequences of aortic disease. And that was Medical Monday. And Sam says, have a great weekend and always remember to think aorta. There we go.
Excellent.
Medical Monday.
Hi, LM San. Hi, Thomas.
Hello, hello, hello. Sam and Thomas. Y'all missed the show before, so I'm going to give you a little taste. Let me tell you about the second thing that happened to me today. Did I write it down? Cards. What did that mean?
All right, go back to the home screen. So
yeah.
We're not sitting on an article. Go ahead. You're back on your soapbox.
Yeah, my soapbox. So, do you know that it's, oh, yeah, I don't remember what it was that happened today. It was the second thing that, oh, yes, I do remember now. Okay. But there could be a fourth. All right. So let me tell you, I went to see Mr. Worldwide, Mr. 305 Pitbull, Saturday night with my sister and my husband. It was my birthday present. Last year, I got to see James Taylor. So yes, I did a complete 180. I've never seen him before. T-Pain opened for him. DJ, I didn't know, but I really liked. And the problem when we got there was that I almost let all the energy out with the DJ. Like I didn't even care. Like, I don't think my husband's ever seen me dance like that before. I didn't care. I lost my mind. My sister and I, we are dancing. We're breaking out the WAP. You know, we got old school going on, right? T-Pain goes on, does his things, very entertaining, even though I think I only know one thing he's done. But then the big show comes. Now, in my row, it's my husband on the aisle. I'm to his right, and then there's my sister and a slew of women going down the aisle of these bleachers. We were pretty close. So this guy and his girl come up. She comes walking through in front of us, and the guy goes to stop, and I think he goes to show my husband his row number on his phone as if my husband cared. But my husband saw him leaving our section 2 rows in front of us, and he said nicely, I think you could be in the wrong row because I saw you leave earlier 2 rows in front. And the guy trying to come in, his drunk attitude came out, and he thought my husband wasn't letting him in. So I turned my head and I'm watching, and I'm like, oh, yeah, okay, singing the songs. Well, this guy barrels past me and whacks me in the stomach. Now, I have an ostomy. Just turns out it's on that side. So it's facing out, not facing in. 9.999 times out of 10, I always have an arm close to my side. If I'm just standing, I always rest my arms. It's me. It's part self-conscious. It's part being, protective because it's very vascular. You just get it the wrong way and it'll bleed, bleed, bleed. And I'm on Eliquis. I don't want to have to deal with that. But he totally whacks me, like pushes his arm. I don't know what happened. I went bananas. And I don't really know. All I know is so bad, you guys. It was the most exhilarating, horrible thing I've ever done in my life. But I thought he was going to whack my sister, so I kind of sort of pushed him. Boop. Dip, boop. So he wouldn't hit my sister. And then they did it the second time really harder. I was like, something came over me. I just felt like a what do they call it? Superhero person. And he turns around because I think he thinks it's my husband, and he sees me, and I look at him and I'm screaming, why would you hit me? Why did you hit me? I was like about to spit pea soup. And then he barrels his way and whacks everybody in the row. And people were like, what the hell are you doing? But I've never in my entire life hit somebody. I've never pushed anybody. That's not true. At Rick Springfield, when some lady's arms kept going in front of my head, I put my arm up stiff. So she whacked it against my arm. And I'm like, hey, that's what happens when you put your arm in my airspace. This is my space, all here for my arms, and that's yours. So I did do that, but I've never done anything like I did. But I was so angry about my physical situation and my issue that the drunkenness and the lack of consideration set me off. Now I'm like, took it out by dancing. But my husband's now on high alert. The guy gave him the finger down the road. So he's like, oh, Karen, this is really bad. I was trying to be helpful. Now he thinks I'm angry. And then you whack him and he whacked you. So we left like early and danced down on the ground with everybody else so we could get out of our section. But still, don't know what came over me. Don't mess with menopausal women that have ostomies. I'm sorry. Just don't do it. My husband missed that whole thing. So yeah. And now I remember what the other thing was. Wait, I just forgot. What was the other? Oh, yeah, now I remember. Okay. I'll tell you what the last thing was last night. Let's go on, shall we? It's Topic Tuesday. Okay. This was written by Duke, and he wants to share with you guys a little bit about bicuspid aortopathy. Cool. It's a condition that's often, I can't speak. It's a condition that is often associated with bicuspid aortic valve disease, bicuspid aortopathy, something different. So bicuspid aortic valve disease is when the aortic valve has only 2 leaflets. But did you know that it usually has 3 leaflets, but they can have 4 leaflets? They can have 1 leaflet. It's so bizarre to me. But more commonly, or most commonly, if it's not going to have its normal 3, it's going to have 2. Which is why we focus about that when we educate you on things. But BAV is typically common. It affects about 1 to 2% of the population. It can lead to a more serious complication that requires close monitoring. And BAV is a congenital defect, so it's something that you're born with. It's not something that you can develop. So all of you that have normal tri-leaflet aortic valves. If nobody's mentioned it to you and you have had an echo or a CT, then you don't need to worry about it. It's probably in your report says normal leaflets. So if you find out, which is typically from an incidental test like a CT or an echo, all of a sudden you might find out, hey, did you know you have a bicuspid valve? That's something you were born with, okay? This is what a normal tricuspid valve looks like, and it's sitting right here, right here. This is the aorta. These are the branches on the arch. It sits right here. You have 3 other valves in your heart. You have pulmonary, mitral, and there's another one. Begins with the T. Now I'm confused because I've said tricuspid. It is. I think that's what it's called. Now I can't. I think that's what it is. No, it couldn't be. It's something. It begins with the T. So I'm kind of sort of there, but doesn't matter. Let's talk about the aortic. So this is your leaflets. It's your 3. Just kind of right? This is what a bicuspid looks like. It functions. You don't like find out you have bicuspid at 45 and wonder, am I going to die because I have a valve? You live this long. It's just, it can cause some issues, right? And it's not considered normal structure. Okay. Bicuspid, regular, normal, tricusp. It's not. It's called the valve begins with a T, and I can't remember the name, so I'm not going to worry about it. All right, so let's just talk about the connection to aneurysms. When you have a bicuspid aortic valve, when you have bicuspid aortopathy, the presentation of this, you're at higher risk of developing an aortic aneurysm. You are, because it has 2 leaflets. I don't really know how that impacts it and why, but you just are, and that's what's important to know. So an abnormal bulging or swelling in the wall of the aorta, remember, that is what an aneurysm is. And over time, having that swell, having that bulge that's been caused by a bicuspid aortic valve, it can actually weaken the aortic wall, which we know about, and it increases the risk of rupture, which we've been told about time and time again, which would be a life-threatening emergency. But regular imaging and monitoring, it's pretty crucial to managing the risk. Pretty normal when you find out you have a bicuspid aortic valve. Link to coarctation of the aorta. Words pretty big. Let's figure out what they all mean. Bicuspid aortic valve is also associated with something called coarctation of the aorta, and that is a congenital condition. It's characterized by the narrowing of the aorta. That's what coarctation, narrowing of the aorta. And this narrowing can actually lead to a decrease in, an increase in blood pressure before the coarctation or narrowing, and reduced blood flow beyond it. So picture your garden hose we've talked about, and if you're developing some narrowing and it becomes really tight, you're going to have that increased blood pressure here and that decreased blood flow after that coarctation or narrowing. And that can actually lead to significant cardiovascular complications if it goes untreated. Why does this matter? Well, bicuspid aortopathy is often silent, okay, until complications arrive, which makes early detection, proactive management essential. So if you or someone you know has been diagnosed with a bicuspid aortic valve, it's really important to work closely with your healthcare provider to monitor for potential complications like an aneurysm or a coarctation of the aorta. I just actually learned something new today. I really knew about the aneurysm, but I don't think I really understood the seriousness of a narrowing or a coarctation caused by a BAV. So that's all I had for you today. Stay informed, take care, stay healthy. Boy, they have a lot of work cut out for them going into September, and there's so much information. I start to smile because I think this, to me, very interesting, because I don't have one, but I like learning about other causes of aortic disease. And so I just thought this one was really interesting, and learning what coarctation of the aorta means. So that is your topic Tuesday.
Well done.
Okay. We have something happening.
No, I said well done.
I thought you said hold on. All right. Pitbull concert ends. Great night. Hour and a half to get out of the parking lot in Hershey, PA, because the other arena, I think, had Green Day. It took a million years to get out. Very frustrated. But my husband drove us back to our car, and then we went to the hotel room, my sister and I. Now, so I'm exhausted. So I need a day. I need a day and an evening to just not do and just be still because I run myself ragged. Yesterday, I was like, I'll go see my mom. Haven't seen her. Let's get dinner, do something. And then because I was falling asleep all day and I wanted to stay awake so I could sleep really good last night, which I did 10:30 to 7:30. Oh, I don't even think I rolled over. It was wonderful. Um, so I go over to her house and we start playing a card game. Now, this card game is called Five Crowns. If you have never played it, it's $9 at your friendly Walmart or at Joann Fabrics. It's really about the same amount. It's multiple decks of cards. It's 5 decks of cards. And it's a very easy game that I'm not going to explain now, but it is extremely easy and a lot of fun. Never played it with just 2 people. We start playing it. I'm hungry. I'm always hungry. I'm hungry and I'm tired. And my mother, early in the game, lays down her cards, which causes the round to end and causes me to add up the points in my card. And I would have had like 300 or 400 points. And I basically threw a temper tantrum. It was like, I don't want to play with you anymore. I'm never ever gonna win. We have 13 million rounds to go, and I'm never gonna catch up to you. And this is stupid, and I don't want to play anymore. And I got really irritable. So she put the cards down. She's like, Karen, let's just go eat dinner. We go to the first restaurant. I'm so irritated that there's nothing I'm willing to eat. So we leave, we go to the next restaurant, and then I had a really nice dinner. It was just potato soup and a salad bar, but it was really good. They had really good dressing. I was really happy. But yeah, that's 3 incidents of irritability off the Richter scale. I don't just know what's happening. But I just can't with people. That's all. I have no more stories. Okay. Happens, right? And then I just look back and I'm like, God, I allowed myself to be so frustrated today over the stupidest, silliest things. I'm going to laugh really hard about it tomorrow. But for the rest of the night, I'm just going to let my husband know I'm disgusting and you should just see me tomorrow. So I am. I know it's hard to tell, but I truly have to trust me. I am just disgusting. All right. But you know what? We have Aortic Hope card decals, and that's not disgusting. They are pretty cool. I don't even know if you can see them. Let's see. Well, that's what it is. So you peel the label off, gets stuck right on the inside of the window. And Aortic Disease Awareness Month, just like 2.5 weeks. No, I mean, it's like a week away. It's like a couple days away, whatever. Grab some swag today. Don't delay. Grab some swag today. If you get nothing else, grab that. We are running out of our seatbelt covers because we will be going in a slightly new direction with them, launching that eventually soon. So if you wanted any of those, check out the order form. They are up to date and let us know and place an order for that. We will be having different types of sales going throughout the month of September. Just check out the top of our Hope Shop, our spread shop, specifically under Hope Shops. You don't need to do anything, no code. You just click the redeem button. So it might be 20% off. It could be free shipping. There's something's going to be happening pretty much every week or 2 weeks. Great time to get some swag. We do have some Aortic Hope awareness magnets as well with a donation. So the decals we come with you with a $5 donation and the magnets with a $10 donation. We have aortic dissection awareness books. You can download those. You can order one if you'd like. So there's a lot of different things you can talk to us about that'll really get you that swag for September month. But again, $5 donation. This is yours. There's an order form right there. This came out on Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday of last week. But you can go to our Hope Shop, and that's all in there as well. I love these decals. It's the easiest way I can find my car too, because I have a white car, white SUV, and I didn't put anything on it, but boom, as soon as I look at the back windows, I see that. For a split second, I get excited thinking somebody in the community has one. And I realize, oh, no, that's my car. But there are people, I've seen like 3 or 4 people driving around with magnets, aortic hope magnets so that's kind of cool when you find that. All right, guys, really pretty cool announcement we made the other day. Jenny Schaefer, who was our Director of Administrative Services, has really changed her role a lot in the very short period of time she's been with us. I can't even believe she's been with us now. It's pretty much just been about a year, a little over a year. And she is now going to be officially the Director of Partnership Development, since that's pretty much what she's been doing since day one. And I've seen our partnerships actually form and grow, which is great. So this is a pivotal role aimed at really forging strategic alliances and driving our collaborative efforts to new heights. Jenny is going to continue to focus on cultivating meaningful relationships, enhancing our outreach, and expanding our impact through innovative partnerships. With a keen eye for opportunity and a commitment to excellence, Jenny is set to steer our organization towards a future of growth and shared success. So congratulations to you, Jenny Schaefer.
Yay, Jenny. Congrats.
Good stuff. Good stuff there. Hey, everybody. Many of you come to us asking how you can help within the community. There's so many ways. It's incredible. We're going to go through all of them in the month of September. I think there's more ways than you guys even realize, but here's one that just started again. Maimonides Medical Center, which is located out of Brooklyn, New York, is working with Aortic Hope and Aortic Bridge, a grassroots support organization out of Brooklyn. And we're looking for participants that want to really play a pivotal role in this exciting study about the psychological impacts of aortic dissection and aortic aneurysm on survivors of these conditions within the community. So if you have participated in this before, and many have, because this is like the third or fourth year, could be fifth, do it again. And as from a personal standpoint, every time I do it, I find my answers so interesting because I've watched them grow, and I've watched psychological changes in myself as I answer the questions. And that's kind of what they're looking for. Even though it's anonymous, they're tracking the changes for people over time through recovery and management of this disease, and getting a sense on the impact to people on the immediate end as well, if that makes sense. So they're committing to enhancing care for those impacted by aortic disease. And really, your insights are invaluable. So whether you're a patient or have a family history of aortic disease, they're inviting you to participate in their brief anonymous survey. So it's just questions. It's not like it's research or anything like that you're ingesting, or a trial, or something like that. But it's a survey. It's part of a multi-year research study that's really aimed at refining care for those that have been affected by aortic disease. And your feedback really will help them have a better understanding in the way that this diagnosis, the impact this diagnosis has really had on your mental health and the quality of your life. So this will ultimately guide them in improving treatment and services. And so you can participate by visiting the link here, take the survey, 5 to 10, 15 minutes, whatever, and feel free to share it with others within the aortic community on any page. These anonymous answers really will help them tremendously in gaining a much better understanding, again, of your experience, and for the development of a more comprehensive care going forward. Not sure why that's on there twice, but there you go. You can check that out from Maimonides, and that is under our resources section. All right, this is overwhelming. We told you we have a lot in the month of September, everybody. Our typical Qigong is every single Sunday at 12:30. These are things that are all free for you, but if you love what you're seeing from us, please consider making a donation. These donations are all used to help with promoting for getting these products out to you, these podcasts, and for our daily operations that occur within the organization, such as creating and shipping out Hope Mail and care packages and our books. It just goes towards everything. We can review every Monday at 3:00. I will be with you on the 1st and 2nd, and then it will be Molly, because I will be in Scotland preparing to talk at a conference. We have our Spanish support group meeting the very first Monday at 7 p.m. We have a caregiver meeting the first Saturday at 10 a.m. We have Aortic Hopes and Aortic Bridges combined support group meeting. That's the first Tuesday at 12 p.m. These things that are in black are just pending me to put a link in there because I'm waiting for their bios and their pictures. We have a live Q&A with Dr. Kristen Watkins. She is a doctor of pharmacy. She's going to be talking to us all about the medications that we take due to aortic disease, any kind of potential side effects, everything. It's a great presentation. Her PowerPoint actually lives on our resources section of our website, but she's going to provide any necessary updates. And all of her information is in Aortic Dissection, the patient guide, and will be in our second patient guide. So that is Tuesday the 3rd at 7 p.m., followed on the 4th with the ever charismatic and popular Dr. Ben Udelman, cardiothoracic surgeon out of Maimonides Hospital, who, by the way, is the director of their atrial fibrillation department. And that will be this specific topic that's happening in September. We've never talked about it before, but there are lots of community members that, for whatever reason, develop either short-lived or long-term period of having AFib. And AFib is basically like an electrical interruption in the heart. We're going to talk about what it is, talk about its symptoms, talk about the potential problematic issues with it and treatment plans, the whole 9 yards. But feel free to bring any aortic questions with you to this meeting because he will answer anything. Then we also have on the 4th, a few hours later, our weekly Canadian support group meeting at 7 p.m. And this is for our Canadians. And I guess if anybody else wants to join, you can, but it's mainly going to be discussing things that happen in Canada. Every single Thursday at 2 p.m., we have our Aorta Hangout with Rob and Mindy. And so this is not a support group meeting. It is an event in which we just kind of hang out with each other. But before that, I missed because I need to enter it now. We will have it Thursdays now, 12:30. We're going to have our Therapeutic Thursdays be primarily a live event hosted by John Quick. He is a community member survivor himself and also a therapist. So who knows what the topic's going to be, but you have an opportunity to call in. You'll be a faceless, only a voice participant online. You can also chat your questions and thoughts with him as well. That will now be every Thursday. And if it is not a live event, he will be providing us with a blog for you to check out online. So that will be every Thursday. We also have our bingo, our closed bingo. That is going to be on the 5th at 7 p.m. After that, we do have another live event on the 10th at 3 p.m. That is with Gareth Owens. So he is I guess he's the chief executive officer, the president, the top dog in charge of ADA UKI, Aortic Dissection Awareness UK and Ireland. He is our friends, our mentor in some ways, in some aspects. And he's going to go live with us to really talk about what's coming up on September 17th with the World Health Organization that we are happy to be participating in their campaign this year also. It's usually about Patient Safety Day. But more importantly, we're going to talk about his event that's happening in Scotland this year on September 19th that Ben and myself are lucky to present. Our topic is patient-physician relationship when it comes to advocacy. We're super excited to do that. And then following the 19th on the 23rd in Dublin, Ireland, Dr. Udelman will be the keynote speaker there, but I will be home with all of you. So that's what's happening with that. We have another support group meeting, general speaking, anybody can go. Tuesday the 10th at 10 p.m. And then on the 11th at 7 p.m., we are launching our Aortic Arts and Crafts series. Now, this particular this particular month happens to be with Diane Bishop of Aortic Health Unlimited. But to all of you crafty people out there, if you would like to be a host on this arts and crafts show, please drop me a line, send me a message at info@aortichope.org and let me know. And we're going to schedule some time to talk and see what kind of arts and crafts you'd like to take the community through. This is open to really anyone, but we do know we definitely have this first arts and crafts piece happening, and it is so cute, and it will not cost a lot of money to get all these supplies that you will be able to use over and over again. So more information will be coming out for that soon. We have another live event with Dr. Jorge Mascaro, and he is located out of Wisconsin, but really charges the Aortic Center and takes care of patients from 4 different states. That's amazing. And I think he's going to talk a lot about TAVR and TVAR and a lot of different surgical techniques and treatment plans that are happening right now with him. We have hangout on the 19th, aortic disease celebration. You're on the day. I hope you guys hang out and enjoy yourselves and take a little cheer in for myself and Terry while we'll be in Scotland that day. But on that night of the 19th, 8 p.m., it is a caregiver support group meeting, specific only to caregivers. And then here we go again on the 23rd at 7 p.m., another live event with Dr. Tyler Warren. Now, he is a DO versus MD, and it is so interesting when you learn about the differences. And he is going to talk to you a lot about what a DO means and what the nuances are and what he sees maybe happening in the future with this career path, this career. It's really more of a specialty in a way, just like you can specialize in different areas like cardiothoracic. It's a way of specializing. And he's really one of very few DOs that are focused on aortic surgery. So that's going to be interesting. Bring whatever questions you have about aortic disease, bring it to that. I am definitely missing one on here, and that is our Ask a Doctor. We have an Ask a Doctor event this month also. There's so many things happening. We do have an Ask a Doctor event. It might be coming up, I'm unsure. No, it's actually on Tuesday the 17th. We have Ask a Doctor. It will only be on Facebook this time so that I can have individuals who are not used to being live and don't have this equipment there. It makes it a lot easier when somebody can just run it on Facebook. So you'll find that on our Facebook channel. We'll go back to regular scheduled programming with that in the month of October, or rather in November. All right, another live event with community member Scott Paulson. It's with his wife. I've forgotten her first name. I am so sorry, but she is a specialist when it comes to Medicare. And this is the first time we've had someone like this on. And she's coming on the 24th at 7 p.m. and is going to really talk to everybody about Medicare before the retirement age. And then she can even answer questions to those of you who might be getting ready to retire and you have Medicare questions. But this is really for those of us who are actually put on Medicare or Medicaid because of our disability that we may be approved for. It's a little confusing. Open enrollment is coming soon. So this is a good time to learn about it and to have a chance to ask any questions before you go into your open enrollment. And then we have another live event. I think this is the most live events we've ever done for aortic disease awareness. And that is going to be on the 30th at 6 p.m. with Chris Doherty and Barbara Mountain from the law firm Doherty, Chella, Keene and Associates. And it is all about navigating the disability process. So that's also a favored live event because we always have new members joining, but that's going to really take you through step one of beginning that disability process and give you clear-cut expectations on what may occur moving forward and how working with an attorney is really going to be to your advantage. I know many people that have done this on their own. I'm personally of the belief I'm not paying these disability attorneys out of my bank account. The money is paid to them on a standard fee schedule across the country with all disability attorneys. The money will come out of any awards you receive. So they do not get paid until you have been awarded disability, and you will not feel that money come out. And it is capped at a very, very reasonable rate for the amount of work that they need to do over a couple years sometimes. So great presentation. We'll bring questions. And it's a very busy September. I'm already tired. We haven't started yet. I'm very tired. So yeah, that's what we got. We got a lot. I feel like I just sang lyrics from a song. But
Right
anybody
on.
else out there have anything?
When we were talking about the survey from Maimonides, Velda was like, I did mine yesterday.
Good job, Velda. Good job. Speaking of surveys, we did just put out a post in the last day or so, reminding everybody that if you have not taken the survey post reading Aortic Dissection, the patient guide, please do so. Please do so. Anybody at any time who has taken this survey in the last year, every month there's an opportunity, if you have not won, there's an opportunity for your name to be pulled to win a water bottle from Aortic Hope. That's the first thing. But the most important thing is that your answers will really help guide us in some degree when it comes to writing the second patient guide. So I want to hear your voice. I want to know what you liked. I want to know how well, how more educated and supported you feel having read that guide, and any suggestions you might have before we finalize the written one here. So I really ask that you take a moment and do that so we can hear your thoughts or read your thoughts. And of course, it can be anonymous. But if you're not anonymous, then I can enter you to potentially win. Win a prize. That's speaking of surveys. So that is that, Jack. That's that. I have to go get printer ink.
Oh, wait, at the end of that story, you didn't even have printer ink?
No, I still have no printer ink. And my printer, and then my printer, like, I had to download something from HP so that I could see what the actual ink levels were. It somehow escaped this computer. So yeah, then it's acting funky and weird and saying, "Oh, this is tied into another account." I just bought this printer. Unless it's tied into an account I signed on with my old computer, and I don't remember at all what that is. So I've just given up on all fronts. And yeah, I still have to go get ink. Telling you.
That's so funny. All right.
How was your time with Aortic at their fundraiser last night for the O's game, Joshua?
The O's game was phenomenal. First off, I don't think I've been to Camden Yards since I was in like my childhood, like 11 or 12, I think I was.
You sure it wasn't Memorial Stadium you were at?
Wherever it was beforehand, don't know.
Okay. Okay.
An Orioles game, I should say. I've been to a Nationals game since then, but not an Orioles game. Camden Yards is very, very nice.
So pretty.
Right? I like it. It's gorgeous. Nationals Park is very much more everything, it's weird because it's such a newer team. Have you been to a Nationals game?
Okay. I've not. I want to.
I
have not.
That field is modern.
Okay.
I mean, the stadium is modern, and it's gorgeous. The thing is it's in like the warehouse district of Washington D.C. So, but any event, once you're in there, the whole place is just amazing. So everything was great. We had great seats. I love the seats. I felt like we were part of every play. And we were right behind the splash zone, if you're familiar with Camden Yards. So that's hilarious. Yeah. My buddy who's he's an Orioles fan, and he's like, yeah, we should probably come back and get seats in the splash zone. And I'm like, no.
Yes.
But he definitely wants to. And funny enough, so the Astros are up 3-0. And you can feel that kind of like, all right, well, let's get geared up for this game. And so the people that I brought with me all went out for snacks and like restroom breaks, and a 3-run home run gets knocked out to tie the game up, and I'm the only one of my group that's in the stadium.
You're like losing your mind,
yes,
right?
It was so good.
Wow.
And they're like, I could hear it. I knew as soon as we left this was gonna happen.
Yeah.
And that's
baseball that happens.
You. Yeah. That was so great.
Oh yeah.
And then they went to not win that game. And so
right, that's what I heard. But I heard we made it on the Jumbotron. It said Aortic Coat. We did. I got a picture of it. It said Camden Yards welcomes, and Aortic Coat came after advanced radiology.
When?
Yep, there we were. Right? It was like probably second or third inning in between. Yeah, Terry snapped a picture because the last 2 games, I missed them both times. I get sidetracked looking at my prize and Cracker Jacks, and then I'm like, oh no, we're on the letter C, and I miss it every time.
Oh man, I missed it.
Yeah. Well, then you're gonna have to go to another game. You'll have to go next year.
Yeah, she says these are the last tickets that we had this year. But it was good. It was very good. I had such a good time yesterday.
I'm so glad you went. Sorry I missed you.
It turns out that you get he wants to be at the park like hours before the game. Right?
Your friend did?
Yeah, he was like antsy to get going, and I was like, bro, the game doesn't start till 7.
Yeah, I think it opens like an hour and a half or 2 hours before.
Oh, he wants every minute. He wants to be there the whole time. He wants to. He's a baseball guy, and I was like, I'm sorry.
Well, there's a lot to do. I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot of different nooks and crannies of things to do. If you put me there that early, I eat so much when I'm at a baseball game. I don't know why. I've been that way since I was a child. I like want to eat almost everything. So I'll get like a Boog's like pit beef or something, and then I'm gonna eventually want like a hot dog, but I never finish it. And then I want cotton candy or I want cracker jack. I mean, I eat like it's disgusting. I just eat. I can't take the nervousness, and then I do get a little bored sometimes, and until it's time to dance around. But I eat. I just eat
And that's what was happening
everything.
there too. I got um a big pretzel, and I was happy that it wasn't super salty because that's always the toss
Yeah.
up, right?
Right.
I don't want it to be too buttery, and I don't want it to be just like a chunk of salt that I'm chewing through.
Right.
So it was a perfect pretzel, and I wanted a cup of fries to go with my beer. But
Uh-huh.
also, as we walked in, there was just some dude standing there, and he was like, "I got lemonade and vodka,"
I saw that. I saw
and I
you
was
holding
like,
that. I was like,
"Yes,
he is not
please."
just drinking lemonade.
And it's delicious.
Good.
And it's delicious.
Good.
Christina
Yeah.
says, "Go to Staples."
I was going to go to Best Buy thinking that that's where I got the printer. So if it didn't work, I could bring it back and be like, your new ink is not working in the printer that I bought from you. What do you think about that?
Mm.
Yeah.
That's a good question. Do you have a Costco membership?
My mother does, but that again requires me a half hour to her house and then another 40 minutes out to Costco. I
Gotcha.
don't have it in me. I will have to hurt somebody.
They
I'm not
have
doing it.
a no
That's where I want to go.
questions asked policy for their
Okay.
as long as you
I
buy
like that.
the whatever for
I
stuff.
like
I'm not
that.
sure because I know that they do that, and they also they Costco automatically doubles or extends the warranty on some products.
Okay.
Most I've noticed it happens most with electronics, TVs, and laptops and whatnot.
All right.
So,
Then that's what's going to probably happen.
but
I'll get
also,
this
but
saga taken
also,
care of.
like Amazon, does Amazon
Yeah.
return cartridges? You're already gonna
That's a
go
good
to you're already
question.
gonna go to the post office anyway, right? So
True. I could do Amazon and then I don't even have
to
to
leave the
leave.
house, see where we're talking about? Now you're in
See,
my wheelhouse.
I'm looking it up right now to see if it has it. And oh, look at that for ink cartridges. But I have to read what they say about return policy.
Fair enough.
Um, yeah, if they let me return it, I'm totally there and it will send it to me tomorrow. Josh, that was smart. I don't even have to leave my house now.
Mm.
I like that. I'm gonna get it from Amazon. It's about the same price. And if it doesn't work, I'll return it. But you know what? I understand because what's keeping some ding dongs from putting the empty ones in the box and saying it doesn't work? I want my money back,
No, I get it.
right?
But I mean, some products are loss leaders for especially when it comes to ink because this
Yeah,
industry is kind of known for having ink troubles that they would have anything in the way of this, you
right.
know? Ah,
Well, I'm gonna order ink, and if the ink doesn't work, then I know it's the printer. But I'm not leaving the house. I'm going to order it because it'll be here like overnight. That's what I'm
Shazam.
doing. All right. That's all I got, guys. Thank you so much to everybody. That's just all of you. What was it? Velda, Christina. Who else? We got Elle,
Melissa, LM San,
Melissa, and
and
Thomas.
Thomas, yes.
Tomas. Thank you guys for joining. I do appreciate. Don't forget to click like, click subscribe, blah, 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 click the bell, and share it because somebody will get something out of this. I promise you. They don't have to have aortic disease to learn things, and if they don't, then they should learn about it because they could. So it's always important. Thanks again. I will see you. Well, we have a support group meeting this week, but otherwise, I will see you next Monday, 3 p.m. Eastern. Take care. Have a good one. Bye bye.